Hello again, my name's Steve Clues from Holistic Shadow Healers based here in Stoke-on-Trent. This video really is about asking for your help. Don't worry, I'm not going to be asking you for money or sending you on a guilt trip to try and make any money. I'll explain the reasons for that a little bit later on. But what I want to do is ask you two things here. And one thing everybody can really help us with. And that first thing is, please share us. If you watch the video, watch this video all the way through. If you like what we're doing, you like what the mission is, we're asking people to please like and share this video out there because we want to get the message out. It's not about liking me as an individual. It's not about liking my colleague Chantel as an individual or any other practitioners that we use. It's about our mission, the objectives of what we're trying to do, and we need to get this message out there. So by liking us, subscribing to us, sharing will help us immensely in getting the message out. And please ask your friends who you share it with to again please share and like the videos, because the more the things are liked, whether it's on social media, YouTube, Pinterest, or all the social media options which we use, that does tend to change the logarithms a little bit, and it makes sure that other people get access to the posts, the videos, find us, and we can start making some differences in people's lives. Now, like I say, this is not about money. I'm not here, as a lot of people do in videos, and say, okay, well, we need help, we want you to donate to somebody. First of all, we're not a business, okay? Think of us more a little bit like a group, with a banner, and people who become practitioners through us or whatever else, they go through their own sort of training course and everything else, but the bottom line is they end up self-employed as a practitioner, and if they wish to use or come under our banner, there are certain things that we ask them to abide by, and that's things like fair pricing for help on one-to-one basis, and other things. But we have looked a little bit at the option of becoming a charity or a company where, we could be asking for donations and stuff like that. But really this just overcomplicates it, and as I've found in the past myself when I run a veterans organisation, you end up having to do more work at the back end in terms of admin, and you start losing the focus on what you're there to actually do. So we're not a company like that, and even if we become a charity and we want to attract certain funding, as I found again running a veterans organisation, people who want to provide funding then turn around and start dictating how you should do things, and we don't want to spoil the essence of this. So we need to just get the information out there. We've got no budget to work with, and in a lot of cases we're having to do stuff in our own free time, off our own backs, to help people. So that would be immense and awesome if you could please just share this video out. Secondly, we're appealing to local businesses. As I say, we're based here in Stoke-on-Trent. We do want to expand out. We have got a practitioner training plan which is by invite only, and I'll discuss that in another video and probably write a small article on it so people can understand where we're coming from, in that we want to be sincere and genuine in making sure that what we deliver is working for people. We have very, very good results with the shadow process, and we need to keep the essence of it there. But expansion comes later. But just for the time being, we really want to get out there and ask local businesses to sponsor us if possible. And again, we're not asking for money in this particular case, but what we are asking for is, first and foremost, we need venues to run from. Venues cost money, which means if we run a workshop, for a shadow workshop, which are very, very productive, and I'll talk again about that in a couple of minutes, venues cost money to hire, and it costs a lot of money, which means we have to then pass that on to people out there who are not in a very good place. They probably haven't got much money to begin with. They're stressed out, they're depressed, maybe even suicidal in some cases. And workshops really help, but then we have to start including the price so we can hire the venue and run the venue. We're asking local businesses if they have access to training facilities or training rooms, or they're willing to provide somebody to hire a venue for us so we can run these workshops on a regular basis. That is the sort of sponsorship we're looking for. Again, we don't want to get involved in any financial transactions, so if a business does say, yes, we want to help you with this, we will find a suitable venue and then go to the business and say, this is the place we'd like, would you please sponsor us to provide this venue for a day, or longer if possible. And there are lots of venues out there. The only one stipulation we have with that, and I know beggars can't be choosers, so to speak, is we don't want to run in any sort of religious based premises, because it's not to be offensive towards any religions or anything else, but we've got a wide and diverse community out there of people who need our help. And in a lot of cases, when you trace history back or whatever else, the reason why society is got a lot of problems like it has today is because of religious bias and beliefs. And we don't want anybody coming in, because our concept is to free the person, to set them free, to use their own mind, to understand who they are in their own way. In terms of religious things, if it was spiritual based, then that's fine, because this sort of practice does engage people in a more spiritual manner, but we tend not to use the spiritual aspect too much, because again, people are put off by what spiritualism means, and it's not about spiritualism, it's about the essence of you. And we don't want to be using religious organisations or their properties, because again, we don't want people or people external to what we're doing coming in and saying, well, really, if you believed in this, that or the other, you'd find all the answers, because that's certainly not the case. So that would be our own stipulation. So, unfortunately, if a religious organisation does approach us and say, oh yes, we've got a church hall or something, you're free to use it, well, thank you very much, but we would have to decline, because based on what we do, it's not anti-religion or anything else. We're not trying to convert people, that's certainly not the case, but at the same time, we don't want people having their heads filled with other stuff and other people getting involved to fill their heads with other stuff, which can be detrimental. We just need to get in there and do the genuine, authentic work which needs to be done, which is helping people to heal and change their way of life. So if you're a business and you're willing to sponsor us, we will obviously make sure in all our videos, and we'll even do a small video for you to acknowledge and thank you for providing help for us, in sponsoring us. That would be great. In addition to that, again, I'm just appealing to any local businesses out there who have recently maybe updated their media rooms or presentation rooms, and they have a reasonably decent projector and screen that they'll be willing to give to us. So again, when we run the workshops, we can show our presentations. We have our own computers, our own personal computers which we use, and some venues will already have a projector in place, but really we could do with a half decent projector, which is good, at showing presentations. In terms of venue size, it's hard to say how many people, especially initially. Probably we won't get too many people coming through the door, but as we grow, we're looking at a venue size to be able to hold about 20 people or so. And of course, if there's options of refreshments there, then brilliant. That would be absolutely awesome. And so I really want to get this message out there and asking people to share this. If you know people who are in the business and they want to help us, then brilliant. Please do. We'll make sure that you get accredited for helping us. A question which we'll probably get is, well, why don't we go to the local authorities to find places? Well, somebody who's helping us has already approached that, and the first thing they say, they don't want to really dip into the pockets, is, well, yeah, you know, we've got a council-run community hall or whatever, but you know, if you want the place, and you know, if you can find a sponsor to pay, and it goes around in big circles. And again, what we tend to find is if we get authorities involved, whether that's medical, whether that's council or something like that, then we start bringing in all these rules and these protocols, and it's very often there's these people which cause people the stress they're in the first place, you know, and through their own red tape and everything else, they just make life more difficult than it needs to be to begin with. And that's why so many people are getting stressed out, and, you know, and everything else today. And again, we don't want to be bound by certain rules, certain protocols, red tape, bureaucracy, or anything else. We just want to be able to deliver the shadow process to people. The one thing which we've found, and based on my own personal story, and I don't want to go into too many details, I want to keep this video quite short, is that in particular with men, but it applies to women just as much, but there's a higher rate of males out there who do not engage in any mental health healing or practices. They don't want to sit down and talk on a one-to-one basis with somebody because of the ego nature of what males tend to be. They feel it's a bit feeble, it makes them feel a bit weak. And obviously, as you know, I'm doing the Show Us Your Stake Challenge, which is all about bringing out mental health awareness and saying, yeah, it's okay. But even so, we still live in a very sort of Victorian, Newtonian paradigm where, you know, males still don't want to really talk to other people. And I was very much like this when I started. For me, I was in a really, really bad place. I'd been in the mental health system and it certainly wasn't helping me at the time, and you end up in a place where you're in limbo land for months on end and you're not getting anywhere, and unless it's brought into check, unless it starts to be dealt with, things like depression, anxiety only tend to get worse. So during that limbo land waiting between you when you first seen your GP and if you're lucky getting into the system, can be a long wait, and you can feel absolutely desperate during this time. And then when you do get in the system, it's not a bed of roses at all, believe me. And really, we want to provide a service which is there so people can access the service, and hopefully we can turn it around for you so that 6 months down the line, when referrals come through, you don't need to go there. You don't need to go and get these medications which actually make things worse for a lot of people. I'm not saying medications shouldn't be used, and I'm certainly not saying you should not go and see your GP. You should. You should talk to a so-called professional about your problems, because yes, medications can help. They can be a stepping stone to putting you into a better place so you can then work on what you need to work on to heal. So certainly go and see your GP, and I'm not stating anything else there, but the system itself is not, or it's under so much stress at the moment that people who actually need the help there and then simply can't access it. I was in a really bad place, and I'll be honest, I had planned to take my own life. I knew what I was going to do. I'm an ex-squaddy, so you know, I'm trained in the obvious. And the way I was going to do it was going to be very quick. There was no way that when I did it, you know, anybody could come and apply first aid and an ambulance crew could save me or anything like that. And I actually felt euphoric about doing it because I was at the end of my tether. I just had enough. And the only thing which stopped me a few seconds before I did it was my dog started pawing me on the side of the leg, and I looked down and the dog's eyes really said it all. And so I went back into my living room, and in absolute desperation, I sat down with my laptop, and I felt so desperate. I thought, I can't even control when I die now. I've lost that ability because I'm now dealing with guilt, you know, the way the dog was looking at me. And it wasn't a good place, believe me. And I just went on the internet and I just typed in a few keywords: anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, and help, healing. And I come across a video. I watched the video, and after about 10 minutes, things had changed for me. it was profound in the way it changed. And it was a video by Teal Swan, the completion process of which I am a practitioner of now. But the point I'm making here is I just watched a video and everything changed for me. And I know that can apply to a lot of people out there as well. You just need that stepping stone. You just need somebody to give you a bit of a break and say, okay, let's be real about this. Let's not have all these false metaphors running around which therapists throw at you to try and make you think different ways, but actually doesn't resolve anything at all. It actually makes you more resilient to other stuff. You know, we're on a genuine basis here, and we want to get to the reality of what's going on and deal with it. And if it can be done by a video, it can be done by a workshop. And the great thing about workshops which we run is you can be anonymous on them. You could come along to them and you could pretend that you're just there on behalf of somebody else. You could say, oh, I've got a brother, I've got a sister, I've got a friend who's suicidal, I just want to know how to help them, when in reality it could be you. And we're not bothered about that. That's fine. It's just the fact that you're accessing something which has the very real potential to change you and to help you. And that's what we want to get at. And this is why we base ourselves on workshops. Because during the workshops, we explore why you feel the way you do. We talk about awareness, consciousness, and the reality of the world we live in. So you understand what also externally drives you to the place you are. And once we understand a problem, we can start dealing with the problem. But we have to be aware in the first place. But more importantly, we also give you the tools to go away with so you can do the process on yourself. We do run one-to-one sessions, but in a large amount of cases, like in my case where I was so desperate I was going to take my own life and very, very serious about that. I had attempted it before, but this time I was really going for it. What somebody said changed my life. And if we run a workshop of 20 and it changed just one person's life, it's got to be worth it. We aim to change 20 people's lives if 20 people tip up. We can't guarantee that. Nobody can guarantee that. But at least we want to be able to give people a choice. But we need these venues to work from, and we really desperately need people to sponsor us to provide these workshops so we can deliver this. And let's get saving people's lives. Let's get people out of bad places. Let's alleviate some of the suffering and the pain many people are feeling. And let's do it in a way that doesn't fight against your ego and stuff like that by just doing an open workshop. We don't sit in circles where we ask people to sit in a circle and each of you, now it's your turn to stand up and tell us your problems. Nothing like that. We do all the work. We guide you through what you need to know, and it gives you the tools you need to take away with you to make choices, better choices. Because trust me, before you do anything stupid or silly, there are alternatives out there. And I can say that with absolute honesty because I personally have been there. I've worked with a lot of veterans who have been there, and it's not about veterans, this is not about just men, this is about anybody. We've all worked, or I've certainly worked with people, and I've seen the differences it can make to people's lives, and are now living happy, productive lives. I can't make any promises that everybody will do this, because it does require you to have a little bit of responsibility to make some choices in your life. We want to at least get you to the stage where you've got some choices, where you're not sat there in limbo land, you're not sat there feeling vulnerable, you're not sat there isolated and in fear. There are other options, but to enable us to do this, we really need your help. So either please share this so this video, this information gets out there, where people who may be business owners or whoever they may be get this information and want to help us and join in with us in doing this. And like I say, it's not about liking me. You may not like my videos, you may not like the face or whatever else. I'm really not bothered about that. It's about liking our mission, and our mission is to provide options and choices for people out there to end their suffering, to help them to heal in a productive way where the healing works and it lasts. It does work, okay, but people need to be able to access this. They need to be or they need to know about this, and by you liking and sharing on social media, sharing the video as much as you can, this information gets out there, people find us and they can come to our workshops. But also people who may want to be potential sponsors can also help. We also run a program as well where if you're a business and you wish to sponsor certain individuals in your business to come on to one-to-one sessions, again, we are more than happy to do that. Unfortunately, we do have to charge for one-to-one sessions because most of the work we do is voluntary at the moment, in our own time, in evenings and stuff like that. But it can become a full-time job, and our practitioners are based on their experiences and the passion for doing this, but they have to live as well. So we want to try and keep the workshops, if we can, free, because we know in a lot of cases just the workshop alone is all people need. But if they do need to go into one-to-one sessions, then unfortunately, we have got to charge. We keep our prices as low as we can, so there is an option to sponsor people if they want to have one-to-one sessions. But again, that's not really what the video is about here at the moment. We're just asking local businesses to help us, to get involved with us, to attract that sort of thing. And like I said, we don't want to deal with money. We're not interested in dealing with money. We don't have a bank account or anything like this. And obviously for businesses who do sponsor us and they want to provide a venue for us, we let the financial transactions go through between the business directly and the venue, and then that way the business can claim tax back or whatever they need to do, rather than us as a middleman get involved. We just desperately need venues to run this from, venues which are easily accessible to people so people can get to us for these workshops. And typically workshops are going to be run in evenings or at weekends when people are free to attend them. But again, a lot of it depends on demand, and we might have to put out another video saying this is really working and we really need help. And yes, at some point we might have to look at funding or whatever else, but we're certainly not at that point at the moment, and we really don't want to take the essence of what we're doing away and have to focus our efforts on the admin and red tape and bureaucracy of running a business. We're not interested in that at the moment. But certainly you as an individual right now can help. Share it, like it, share it with your friends, tell them to share it and like it, and like our mission, like our objectives, what we're doing. It's not about me, it's not about Chantal, it's not about any other practitioner, it's about what we're doing. We're asking you to like. And the more we get liked, the more posts get out there, the more the algorithms on search engines and social media changes, and so the information spreads, and that's all you need to do. Okay, I'm going to leave the video there and just say thank you very much for watching this. As the old saying goes, sharing is caring, and that really stands true here. So thank you.